And this was taken at Mwenzi, the Mwenzi camp. So just beautiful sunsets each night. Really nice to see. Didn't stay up too late because I wanted to get to sleep earlier, but get ready for the next day. But it was really nice to see. Here was a closer look at what Kilimanjaro was looking like. And as we started to get closer, for me and I think the rest of the team, we actually started to realize what we were getting ourselves into, that it wasn't just a small little hill that we were going to be going up. It was going to be a pretty big mountain. So, and this was when we got higher up. This is just when the sun was coming up. So we're way above the cloud line, just beautiful to see. Sometimes you can see the lights from the village below, but not very often. And here's a picture of me with the Kilimanjaro right in the background there. As you can see, I have my Abbott patch on my jacket there. That was my corporate sponsor for my climb. If it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't have been able to go on it. So. And there we have Phil. This was after quite a big hike up a hill there, which we had quite a significant altitude gain this day. And it was really nice just to be able to see what we actually climbed up. This was the point where we could see quite far down the hill there, and it was. There's Paul looking pretty gangster. I'm sure he'd be happy that he knew that I showed this today. And we took rests every little once in a while. We didn't want to take rests too often because you get going and you just don't really want to stop, so you just keep hunkering over. And there's another shot of what we were basically been hiking up through the past couple days. And there's more. There's me, and this is when we're heading towards Mwenzi here. As you can see, we have our porters right a little bit ahead of us, and they carried basically all of our stuff. We carried about some water, some snacks, rain gear, a little bit of warm clothing, but they carried the bulk of our gear, which was quite heavy, and they basically just ran right past us, and they were at the camp, set up all the tents way before we arrived, which was great to have because everything was ready for us. But just amazing to see these guys just run past us with these huge bags sitting on top of their heads. Here's another picture of looking down at what we were climbing up. So here is when we were just approaching the Mwenzi Tarn. Very beautiful, just amazing to see that we're basically you'll see a picture of it, just surrounded by this rock and jagged rock and just valley. It's just beautiful. And there's Paul. This is just when we were just arriving at Mwenzi. As you can see, not a lot of shrubs, just a lot of rock, very dusty. And this is when we were at Mwenzi Tarn with Phil and Paul. And a huge drop-off right behind there. Didn't want to fall down there because you probably wouldn't be coming back. And this is at the Mwenzi Tarn right here. So just surrounded by this rock, just beautiful. And there was a small kind of pond area where they were actually getting water, their porters. And, of course, boiling it, I would hope anyways. So this was a particularly long day. This is when we were going from Mwenzi all the way to the Kibo Hut, which is where we would go to summit. So it was basically just the saddle in between Mwenzi and Kibo Hut, and it looked like it was maybe a three-hour walk or so, but it turned out to be 5 or 6. So we just kept hunkering down here, and it was quite windy at this point, so it got a little bit cold, but we just kept going. When we'd stop for lunch, we hid behind some rocks to hide ourselves from the wind. So this was particularly, even though it was not very steep at all, it still was just very long and daunting because we could see where we were going. And it looked like it was maybe only an hour away or so, but then it would be more like 3. So we were just heading right to somewhere near the bottom of of that mountain right there. And this is one of our guides right there. Our guides were great, very friendly, very helpful with everything. It was really great to have them with us. We got some really great ones. So now this is jumping all the way to summit night. I didn't take too many photos in between that because quite tired and just wanting to get to the top. This was taken by Phil at Gilman's Point, which is quite a high point, and it's definitely an accomplishment to make it there. But there is a higher point, which is Euro Peak. But this is at Gilman's Point, just the sun coming up over the clouds. This was about 5 hours in hiking, so of course we were all very tired, and one very inspiring thing was Andy, she was just a little bit behind everybody, and she ended up reaching it just a little bit after us, and she wasn't sure if she could go on, and we all left, and she was still there just having some tea, and we ended up reaching the summit, and then she came up just a little bit after us. So we left Andy here, but we saw her just a little bit later on, which was just amazing to see.
What elevation you at there?
5,600 and something rather. Yeah. Or maybe a little bit more than that, I'm not sure. So here's the glacier that sits on top of the summit. There used to be a lot more snow, but since then a lot of it has melted. This is the glacier that remains. Just beautiful. And surprisingly, it wasn't overly too cold at the top. I can't really give you a exact amount. I can't, considering the altitude, some things are a little bit blurry, I suppose. But I still remember the feeling I got, though, of course, when I made it to the top. So here it is. We had a clear, beautiful day. We made great time. We summited at 7:30 in the morning. Just amazing to be able to be there with the entire team. It was an emotional feeling to have, just to be finally at the top of that after seeing myself where I was just a year ago in a hospital bed, not being able to eat, hooked up to an IV tube, basically slowly wasting away. So being at the top was a really emotional thing for me, because I would never have imagined myself being on top of Mount Kilimanjaro, the highest freestanding mountain in the world, after being so sick. So it was just amazing to also be able to share it with my team members, who were so supportive to me, and we were so supportive to each other just during the whole trip, and making lifelong friends at the same time.
Is that a case of beer all up there?
Yeah, right there. Gotta celebrate, right? And this right here, that flag, is what my aunt, uncle, and cousins, sitting right in the front here, calling him out, gave to me. They all signed it, which was really, really cool. And here's the whole team. We're looking pretty happy, even after hiking for 7.5 hours up steep scree and all that stuff. So here's another shot of the glacier. And this, Phil took this shot. This is actually what we were going to go down. So we basically ended up kind of skiing down the slope because of the rock, and the rock and dirt was so loose. So we were heading towards this right here. This is Kibo Hut. So a lot of it's hidden, obviously, by drop down there. But we basically skied down the slope in the really loose dirt, which was kind of fun, but in a way we were all very tired, so it was fun, but I'm sure if I was less tired it would have been a lot more funner.